The platform is so awesome because before we were using Excel spreadsheets, right? So I just found with Bike Rent Manager that onboarding process, and even today, the level of responsiveness of the staff is just fantastic. I ping an email and within 24 hours, often shorter, I'm getting something back. So number one is just the customer service aspect to it. Secondly is the fact that the software and the platform, it's just very intuitive.
Jamie, for taking the time to speak with us, with Bike Rent Manager. You run what can be described as the ultimate place for cyclists to stay in Belgium, which is the heart of cycling. And you have started using BRM a year ago to really grow your rentals as part of your business, the Flandrien Hotel. So I really wanted to first understand, for the people listening, understand about the history of the Flandrien Hotel and how it has become a cycling hub in the heart of Belgium.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the time, Pedro. So just a little bit of background on me and the hotel. So I'm actually, my background was in business school teaching. So I was a strategy and innovation guy for many, many years. I still do a bit of that. And alongside that, I was racing my bike, traveling all over the world, particularly as a master cyclist, doing a lot of the UCI Grand Fondo World stuff. So during COVID, I had time on my hands and I was looking on a real estate site with the idea of buying a little holiday house. And instead of buying a holiday house, I ended up finding and buying a 15-room boutique hotel, which is in the heart of the Flemish Ardennes. So anyone who knows cycling, they know this region. I mean, within sort of half an hour, 40 minutes ride of the hotel, we've got all the famous climbs like the Mur, the Old Quaremont, Paderberg, Koppenberg. So it really is
iconic climbs.
Yeah, there really is the iconic climb. So we've been open now for 3 years, and we are, I think, pretty special in that here in Belgium and in Europe. You know, we're really one of the very few 100% cycling themed hotels. In that, you know, if you're not a cyclist, we always say don't bother coming to our hotel. You know, go someplace else because everything that we do here is tailored around the cycling experience. And around 90% of our guests are international. We have a few Belgians come in, but mostly it's people coming in from the UK, Scandinavia, North America, Australia, and so on. And they are the guests that we really look after, and also, of course, with rental bikes. Amazingly, early on, we were told by Tourism Flanders that we shouldn't rent bikes because their research showed that most people brought bikes with them, these serious cyclists. So at first, when we opened, we didn't have rental bikes. We had emergency bikes in case somebody had a mechanical mishap.
Right.
But actually then, in that experience of being here, we actually discovered the reason that people were bringing their bikes was actually it was very difficult to rent a good quality bike in the area. And that then led to the bike rental business. But the other thing, of course, is, you know, whether they rent a bike or often they bring a bike, you know, when you get to a normal hotel, how do you assemble your bike, right? I mean, how do you wash
that's always a pain.
How do you wash your cycling clothing? Because if you give it to the laundry washing service, it's going to cost you 50 euros for, you know, 2 kilograms of washing. So here at the hotel, you know, we map that whole stay experience as well. So we have every single element you could think of here, from the service course, the secure bike storage, free washing machines and dryers, you know, everything you can imagine that you need as a cyclist. And then, of course, the whole ambience. I mean, if you look behind me, I mean, this is the clubhouse. I mean, we have an amazing clubhouse bar with all the Belgian beers, but we also have cycling artwork in the clubhouse and in every room. And we have a big classic bike collection. I'm a collector. I have been a collector for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So I have over 150 classic X-Team and Pro bikes. And at any one time, we have about 80 bikes on display in the hotel as well.
Wow.
So
quite a good collection.
Imagine you're coming from abroad, you come in and it's really a wow experience to be here. And then it's all about community, because everyone who stays here is a cyclist, and you get to meet people, you get to ride with people as well. So we do that. The other thing we do is we have what we call our SOS pickup service, or SOS replacement service, because the most disheartening thing for any cyclist is, you know, to come here to Flanders, and whether they bring their own bike or they rent a bike, accidents happen, you know, because of the cobbles are really brutal on bikes. So just to give you an example, this season, between February and September, we had 12 broken derailleurs.
Wow. Okay.
So what we promise our guests that if you have that mishap, one of our staff will be with you beside the road within 45 minutes with a replacement bicycle, right? So since opening 3 years ago, we have not had one guest lose any more than 3 hours of cycling during their stay. So no one has had to lose that day, of their maybe sometimes 3, 4 or 5 day stay. So that's pretty special.
That's remarkable. Yeah, great customer service there, right there.
Yeah, well, it's from my experience, Pedro, because I've been cycling France. I've been cycling Italy where you have maybe you just have 4 or 5 days and then you have a problem and you lose a day. It's really, really horrible. So
yeah, exactly,
I'd experienced that and I didn't want my guests to experience that. So we deal with that. So, and then, then you have the post experience, and that's all about keeping in contact with us. We have our social media. We are often sending, information about special events. So people sort of sign up for our Flandrien Peloton and then they keep in contact with us. And we have many guests who, by year 3, they've already returned to us 3 or 4 times. We have a lot of repeat business. Yeah.
Well, if you create the experience that you're creating, is a kind of like you said, it's like a through 100% cycling focus, providing with the services that cyclists will need on the road, in the hotel, and then the community, the collection. It's kind of all compassing that experience that brings really the spirit of cycling alive.
Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting when you read our reviews, when you go to go to Google reviews. We have a guest book in the house, of course, but rarely people to say, oh, the bed was nice or the shower was good. Now, of course, when you think about cyclists, our rooms are actually pretty simple because cyclists need 3 things. They need a really good bed, they need a power shower, and they need high-speed internet, to upload their social media stuff. But they don't need a mini bar. They don't need an iron in the room. They don't need a 4-poster bed with 16 pillows. They don't need that stuff. So
for sure,
what we do on that side is we provide really good quality, simple rooms, because actually people only sleep in the rooms. They spend much more time in the clubhouse and in the library area, hanging out with others. And so that's always interesting. When you do read the feedback, it's much more about this wow experience and the community and the friendships that people make, while they.
I'm interested to find out a bit more the rental fleet that you offer, because there is there's a very special part of it. And please tell us what, besides the high quality road bikes that you have, also gravel bikes, e-bikes, what is there something that's special that you offer?
I'll talk you through it, because actually, again, everything we do here at the Flandrien is we question assumptions, we challenge things. So I can talk, our bar here, our complete bar, all the nutrition, all that, it's all self-service. We have a self-service tablet. We don't have people working in the shop, that's all done. So we always question things. And the first thing we did actually was I was thinking, well, what do people really need from a rental bike when they come to Flanders? And what they need is reliability, simplicity, reliability, and quality. So what I did actually was say, I'm not going to go and spend 50,000 euros on buying 20 high, Di2 or even a mechanical disc brake carbon bicycles, because a decent quality bike like that's going to cost you 3,000 or 4,000 euros, right? I said, I'm not going to do that, because actually that's overkill for most of our guests, because most of our guests are 35 to 55-year-old. They've all ridden rim brake bikes, and the other thing is that we did some testing early on. I mentioned we had the emergency bikes. They were all carbon, but we broke several of them, because when you snap your derailleur on the cobbles, the derailleur spins up and it hits the rear chainstay and it cracks the carbon. We cracked 3 of our rental bikes, our emergency bikes, in the first 6 months. So I said, nope, we're not going to do that. So what we do actually is I scour the second-hand market, and that is huge here in Belgium, because most guys buy a bike, they ride it for a year and a half, and then they sell it.
Yeah, for sure.
So our core rental bike fleet, believe it or not, is a bit old school. We have Cannondale CAD 10 and CAD 12. We have Van Rysel AL, and these are all aluminium frames, and typically with Ultegra 11 speed, rim brakes and external cabling, right? So
it's easy to service, reliable,
easy,
durable.
Man. There's no hydraulics, you know, if you snap a gear cable or whatever, cleaning and servicing, super easy, right? The other thing, of course, is that we want to very quickly, when our guests book the bike, they put in their measurements, right? So not just saddle height, but also reach. So, you know, if you've got a modern disc brake bike with internal cabling through the stem, you've got a problem, man. You've got a problem, right? Because you can't just quickly set it up. So, so those quite simple bikes are really, really all that people, because most people are here for 3, 4, max 5 days. And the thing that we promise people is that they work. They're very nicely tuned, they're clean. And the other thing is that we fit all of them with minimum 30 millimeter tires. Right. Which for the cobbles is just, we do that on purpose. So we do that, and now what that then allowed us to do, if you think about it, right, the problem you have with a rental bike business is also you have variable demand, right?
Yeah, seasonality.
So you either have too many bikes or you don't have enough bikes. So think about that for a moment. Like if I'd have invested 3,000 or 4,000 euros each in these disc brake bikes, then maybe I could buy 20 bikes. That's a big investment. The bikes that I bought, these aluminium bikes, they typically cost, and this is really talking to people in the trade now who are listening to this, I typically pay between maybe 700 and 900 euros for one of those bicycles. Very good condition used bike. So I bought I bought 50 bicycles, right? Wow. Okay. So with that investment that I would have bought 10, I bought 50. Now, what does that mean? What that means is that during, for example, the Spring Classics period, where we have huge demand, then I had last year for the week of Tour of Flanders Roubaix, I think we had over 50 bikes rented out, you know?
Wow. Exceeds the capacity of the hotel, right?
Yeah, sure. We would get, I was literally buying bikes the week before, you know, because we kept renting. But if you think about the economics of that, well, you know, we charge for a guest staying at the hotel, we charge them 65 euros per day. But for an external visitor, because remember, demand is very high for weeks in the spring, then we charge 85 to 100 euros per day because that's what the demand is, right? Yeah. So all I need to do is if I rent that bike, that Cannondale CAD 12 that I paid 750 euros for, if I rent it for 8 or 9 days, the bike is paid.
Yeah. You got to pay for itself.
It's paid for, right? So, and then as our rental bike friends know, you then amortize the value of that bike down to zero after here in Belgium 3 years, and then you can sell it on. That's fine. But I'm not so worried about that because the bikes are paying for themselves typically within 7 to 10 days.
Which is remarkable. I mean, if that's one of the key areas where rental business that offer rental bikes struggle is how can we have this fleet, but we need to offset the cost that it costs us to bring us to store it, maintain them, and then hopefully within 1 or 2 years we need to sell them on, and will we get some profit out of it? And that's a lot of the logistical problem that comes with having a bike rental fleet. And from what you're saying is it sounds like you are clearly solving this problem by looking at how to strategically buy bicycles that are reliable, offer the same level of ride quality, and still manage to get profit at the end of the day out of them.
So, and this is the thing, I just said, well, just question the assumptions. Why do you assume you have to buy new bikes? Why do you assume they all have to be disc brakes? So I said, no, we question that. And honestly, it's really worked well for us. It's worked well. Now, will people be willing to ride rim brake bikes 3 years from now, 5 years from now? Maybe not, because then that fleet is getting old. So, but it's working for us for now. But of course, again, with the cost curves, what will happen is that I think within 3 to 5 years, you will have very many more decent quality second-hand rim brake bikes on the market. Sure. And again, this is a peculiarity to Belgium because the used bike market here is so massive. There are so many bikes in the market, and because of that, the prices are very low. I'm not sure that will be the same in other markets, but it's certainly valid for Belgium.
In Belgium.
So that's the first thing that we do. The second thing is that we have invested now in gravel bikes. They are all disc brake bikes, but again, typically I buy those secondhand, good quality. and we charge more for those. So we do have an option. We have at the moment, I think, 8 or 10 gravel. We will have 8 or 10 gravel bikes, and it's just an experiment for us at the moment. And if the demand's there and the return on investment is there, then we will buy more. Otherwise, we stick with the fleet that we have for the time being. So that's the second thing. Yeah. We have a few e-bikes, but they're rarely rented because most of the cyclists who come here to Flanders, I would call serious cyclists. And they prefer to ride a regular road bike. So we have the e-bikes, but they're not utilized very much. Then what is very unique about what we do is some of the bikes behind me. We're actually, I think we are the only location in Europe, if not the world, where you can rent genuine ex-pro team bikes. So if you want to rent the bike of Julian Alaphilippe, Mark Cavendish, Andre Greipel, Tom Bonen, Fabian Cancellara, we have those bikes. And we've got about a dozen at the moment on the platform. Now there's obviously a price premium there, but they do rent typically to wealthier, guests from the US, sometimes from Australia, Scandinavia. But more importantly for us, what launching that service did was it created a real buzz in the media. So we got a lot of coverage in the cycling magazines and through some of the podcasters and stuff, because it is a cool concept, So that's what we also do. We do work in partnership here with Tourism Flanders quite closely. So when they have, for example, magazine editors come or content creators, we often host those people here at the hotel. And there's nothing cooler than for a podcaster or a YouTuber to be able to ride the bike of Mark Cavendish or Alaphilippe or Marianne.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, so that's cool. But we charge a premium there. I think our rates for the ex-pro team bikes start at around 120 euros per day. As I said, we don't rent them a lot, but it's a nice draw for people.
Yeah, I mean it's a unique service and kind of is a novelty. It gives the people a unique opportunity to experience riding bikes that pros have experienced. It's not in every sport you can say that you can drive a sports car, but you have that opportunity, give that opportunity to people.
Absolutely. So that's also, we're thinking about concepts probably for next year that we will introduce a membership type concept that you can buy. So for example, you can take an annual membership with us, which entitles you to a certain number of days of bike rental of the pro bikes, for example. And there are car clubs that do that. There are racing tracks, that do that in the automotive space. But no one, as I understand it, is really doing that in the bicycle space. So that's something we're looking at. The other thing that we have launched, the website is already up. You can check it out. So we have now the Flandrien Bicycle Gallery, because we also sell bikes. We sell the classic bikes, the ex-team bikes. We do that currently from the hotel. And we've now created an e-commerce platform. And we will be expanding that next year. So that will also be linked to the Bike Rent Manager. Because on that site, you will be able to buy and test ride or rent and then have the option to buy, which is something we really will expand next year. So we should have on the platform about 150 ex-pro team and classic bikes by end of February, listed on the platform. Yeah.
Wow, I mean that's remarkable. It's almost a 360 experience of that. Someone coming to the hotel or just coming to have a bike rental you can offer them all the aspects of being in the cycling hub with the people that like-minded people can experience a unique experience that other hotels, other retail hotspots that probably can't match to what you have at the moment.
No, that's really cool. I mean, that's what when guests come, I mean, that's part of what they love. I mean, the other thing that we do, which is quite special here at the hotel, is, from day one, we wanted really to, I'm Australian and I raced as a junior, but, my family didn't have the money to give me the opportunity to come and race in Europe. And, I kind of always regretted that, that I never had the chance to step up to the next level because I raced state and national level in Australia. So For me personally, when I opened the hotel 3 years ago, one of the other real drivers was to be able to offer a base here for young athletes. So when we opened, we launched what we call our Flandrien scholarship program, and we've had almost 60 athletes through that over the last 3 years. And we typically take, so the athletes come to us predominantly from the Commonwealth, so Australia, New Zealand, Scotland, Ireland, some from the UK. We will have our first Indian riders coming next year, and we're also in discussion at the moment with a rider from Eritrea to offer him a scholarship. So that's really an important part of what we do here, which actually overlaps with what we do with Bike Rent Manager, actually, because the kids who we have here in our scholarship program, female and male, they love nothing more than tinkering with bikes, So, I'm incredibly lucky that in a way I have 6 resident mechanics living with me pretty much throughout the whole year. I mean, they change, they come and go, they stay typically between 1 month and 3 months. But that also, is really wow for our guests, because, not only can we rent the bikes, but often they'll come back from their ride and then they meet these young riders who are staying with us, and they will wash the bikes, they will talk to the guys, and often they even ride with the guests as well. So that's something which we see as a very natural fit with what we do with Bike Rent Manager, because we can manage this variability of demand, because for us, we have people living here on site who can support us with setting up the bikes, washing the bikes and stuff like that. And we have, as I said, typically around 4 to 6 of them staying with us at any one time. So, when it's busy, more of them jump out and start washing the bikes and stuff.
It presents a great opportunity for developing talent.
Yeah, we try to be a bit creative with that, and we can do that as a hotel because we have this program running here.
Yeah. So I wanted now to ask you a few questions about the software. I mean, you've been using it for a year now. What are the benefits that you see whilst using the software?
Man, like if you were here, I would just give you a hug. I mean, the platform is so awesome, because before we were using Excel spreadsheets, right? So we were sending the Excel to the guest, and then they were putting in their name and contact details and dates, and then we were putting that in our Excel, and then month by month we had the Excel spreadsheets, and it worked, but it was such a pain, and then the payments were not joined up and everything like that. So we did start pretty amateur in a way, because the business grew very organically, and then we realized it was an opportunity, and then we started to invest. So that's when sort of Bike Rent Manager came along. And I think there's 3 things. Number one was just how accessible you guys are, in terms of during the setup, actually having a human being to talk to during the setup, as opposed to so many, I work with a point of sale system, I work with a property management system. And so many of these cloud-based companies, it's like, you get stuck in this like loop, you like go to our frequently asked questions, and then it sends you into the chatbot, but the chatbot doesn't do anything, and it drives you absolutely nuts. And I just found with Bike Rent Manager that onboarding process, and even today, the level of responsiveness of the staff is just fantastic. I ping an email, and within 24 hours, often shorter, I'm getting something back. So number one is just the customer service aspect to it. Secondly is the fact that the software and the platform, it's just very intuitive. It's very easy to use, to upload your inventory, to manage your pricing, to all that stuff is really great. And that's also very easy for me to onboard staff. So when other people need to use the platform, again, very easy to get them up to speed. Is the second thing for me. So just the core functionality of everything you need, particularly because also with the bikes here, like I said, we offer, not only do we offer the geometry setup, we also offer variations in wheels, for example. You can get a carbon fiber wheel set. You can also, add extras, which is very useful, like all the pedal options and stuff like that. That's all there, a helmet. So very, very seamless from that side. And then the third thing for us is the payments integration, because, we're working with Stripe there, and it's just super easy, to process the payments. And what's awesome for us is that we require upfront payment. So, and the guests are happy to do that. So, that just creates this, the cash flow that's creating for me now. Like I'm getting bookings. The bookings will really start kicking in December and January. But I've got that income coming in during a period which is actually off-peak for us, right? In fact, the hotel is closed in January or February. We open at the end of February. So what that gives me actually is then, free cash flow in December, January, February, which I didn't have before. And now I've got thousands of euros coming in at a time when we need to do renovations and prepare for the new season.
Course, yeah.
So I think the payment conversion and that constant free cash flow, is really a big plus for me that I didn't really think about before setting up with the platform.
Wow. I mean, yeah, that's so for a business, that's crucial to have cash flow. And with the online bookings, you don't have to be there managing every step of the customer journey. It's on your website, it's available globally. People can just book it, see what's available, and then on the back end, everything is taken care of, including payments, inventory management, reservations, which is it creates a lot of peace of mind.
Absolutely, and peace of mind for the guests as well, right? Because all of the notifications of the booking, the reminder of the booking, that's all automated. So before I was literally from the Excel spreadsheet sending people an email or a WhatsApp, so all that's all automated as well. So from our side, it's really very seamless. That's it. I mean, on your side of things, everything is excellent. On my side, getting around to numbering all the bikes and, keeping track of the inventory and stuff, that's our fault. That's something we have to work on a little bit harder. Yeah.
Very good. I wanted to finish with to ask you if there is any stories from your customers that rent bikes from the Flandrien Hotel, anything that I'm sure you have always 5-star reviews, but is there any a story that stands out from the experience of a guest?
Look, I think there's a few, but I think and this is not the only one, because this has happened maybe 3 or 4 times, at least in the last year, is that I had a desperate, booking request on the platform. It was on a Thursday night because a lady, Katie, had flown in from the US and her bike was damaged, right? So, she's not even staying with us. She's staying at another hotel. She unpacks her bike and the fork is broken, it's been damaged.
Terrible stuff.
She's here for 3 days. She's got Friday, Saturday, Sunday to do this Flandrien challenge, which is this 3 days where you cover all the cobbles. So she's distraught, she's desperate. So she calls us and so we then, I speak to some of our scholarship riders, a young guy here who was with us, Carl Aiken from New Zealand. I said, hey, Carl, Katie's got a problem. He's like, no worries, Jamie, I'm onto it, So he's literally and I think it was 9 or 10 p.m. in the evening. So Kyle is in the garage, he's setting up the bike. He throws the bike in the car. He drives to Katie's hotel. And I think by the time we got there, it was 10:30 or 11 p.m. And he delivered the bike to her. And the next morning at 8, when she was to head off with her group, she was ready to go, So wow. I think, because we know what it means. If Katie didn't get the bike, her weekend is ruined, because she loses that first day. And if she loses the first day, she can't complete this Flandrien challenge with her friends. Right. So, I think that's that makes us feel good. And of course, she was absolutely over the moon and everything went well. And she was super, super thankful. But the other reason for me that's a special experience is that Katie experienced it. That was good for her, but also for Kyle as our staff member. That he's one of our scholarship riders as well. That he had such a feeling of wow, I really did something good, helped her, and that just reinforces the whole philosophy of what we do here at the Flandrien. That we are cyclists. We do everything that we can to help cyclists have an amazing experience. And when I can empower my staff or my scholarship riders to feel that as well, then it's very maturing for them. It's an experience for them that they don't don't forget as well. So
Brilliant.
yeah, so that's one that immediately comes to mind. And yeah, obviously I mentioned the broken derailleur situation. So we had another guest here from Australia, and he was out with his buddies, and on the Paterberg, he got out of the saddle, judder, and he had the chain cross, from the big ring on the front, and he snapped the derailleur off. So again, that was like a frantic call, please. And I think within 45 minutes, we had a replacement bike, with him on the Koppenberg, and then he complete his day. So yeah, that's I think for us, the most fulfilling experiences. Yeah.
Well, I guess those are the experiences that you will remember, and that's what makes your service, Flandrien Hotel, stand out, because it's just that kind of customer experience and service which is key in our industry, is what makes Flandrien Hotel stand out, and what makes you have recurring customers coming back again and again, and what makes it really successful. I mean, you can't beat that kind of experience.
No, for sure, and that's that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That experience, and this is where I think Bike Rent Manager is so good. It just makes life easy for everyone. And when things are running smoothly, then you can enjoy all the other aspects of your beautiful cycling. Whether you're in the Alps or you're here in Flanders, wherever it might be. But all we're doing as an industry is just providing people with experience and peace of mind. And if we've got a platform to support us in doing that, it's awesome. And that's where we are.